Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Platform Times. The major story here says, Ivory Coast clinches victory in thrilling 2023 AFCON final. Another story here, CBT Center owner convicted for registration irregularities. 120,000 Nigerian refugees in Cameroon seek Tinubu's assistance for return. And at the downstrip here, we have Kano Anti-Graft Agency cracks down on alleged hoarding, seals over 10 warehouses. ADC announces new acting state chairman in Ogun, Ekiti State amid strategic reshuffling. At the top corner, Ogun nurses demand reversal of controversial certificate verification. How I escaped to death with Wigwe Ositachidoka recounts final moments. We'll move now to the front page of the Punch newspaper. And a major story here. Heartbroken Nigerians mourn Wizkid Wigwe. Friends, well-wishers, recall late CEO's life and times. Nigeria demands report as U.S. probe crash. He was unlike other Nigerian big men, says mentee. Wigwe exit of a banking Wizkid. Tinubu Abiodun family friends mourn stock exchange giant Ogubanjo. And Nigeria's predicaments not solely political, Adeboye is saying. Disco's overcharged 7.1 million customers in 9 months, the federal government is saying. 4 killed as gunmen abduct 5 in Ogun. Nigeria to become a food exporter through mechanized farming, the president is saying. Eagles clinch silver as Cote d'Ivoire win AFCON. Eagles saved worst performance for final match. The fans are saying Nigeria facing worsening economic crisis, says IMF. Those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Punch newspaper. We'll move now to the Leadership newspaper, and it's looking in a different direction, talking about abandoned vehicles littering seaports over high tariffs. Abandoned vehicles litter seaports over high tariff. That's what the story is there. And then another story here, we see Access Holdings, how Wigwe's successor will emerge. Cote d'Ivoire clinched third AFCON title, match Nigeria's record. Now, I'll make Nigeria exporter of food. That's the president saying that. And reforms forex inflow surges by 66.7% to $2.2 billion. Maritime policing, National Assembly to end Navy's monopoly. Nigeria's challenge is getting worse, says Adeboye. And NDLEA arrests insurgents, drug suppliers, others. Some of the stories you find on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. Move now to the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. Adegboye Ubasani, Nigeria needs urgent spiritual help. We get it right. Beg citizens to give our leaders a chance. That's the rider. And will achieve sufficiency net exporter of a Greek produce. That's what the president is saying. Minimum wage, APC chieftain warns federal government to avoid arbitrary increment. And down here we see another story saying NDLEA arrests 42-year-old insurgent drug supplier in Borno. Criminals hack into Cross River governor's phone. Those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. And to the Nigerian News Direct, amid hardship, IMF urges federal government to completely halt payment of fuel electricity subsidies. And another story, NANS move to halt launch of student loan scheme. Why? You might want to find out details. Motorists driving with unclear covered number plates risk impounding illegal state, is saying. Some of the stories you find on the front page of Nigerian News Direct. To the salient times now, food security will become net exporter of food. President Tinubu is saying Cote d'Ivoire defeat Nigeria in AFCON final. Escalating foodstuff prices may compound insecurity. Civil War veteran Aduke wants Nigerian government. And here, insecurities and federal government ban sale of fuel in jerrycans, bread on motorcycles. Anambra community disowns woman who attempted to sell 2 sons for 1.8 million naira. Missing woman reportedly found locked up by prayer warriors in Taraba. And those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Salient Times. Kemi.
Vanguard is next, leading with this report on higher prices looming as businesses rely more on loans to survive. It adds that borrowing from banks rises 52% at 1.83 trillion naira, and interest payment also rises 332.3% to 589.62 billion naira. So many figures there. You could get details from the Vanguard, but other stories read thus: harsh economy pushing Nigerians to crime. That's according to senior lawyer Afe Babalola. And on reforms, Edo will save Nigeria $40 billion spent on medical tourism. That's according to Governor Obaseki. Next is the Daily Trust newspaper. Federal workers in 90 ministries, departments, and agencies yet to get January salaries. And that's the picture stories of how, in the words of Daily Trust, Cote d'Ivoire overpowers Nigeria to lift the AFCON trophy. On Forex crisis, Hajj registration below 50% as payment closes today. High fare will prevent Nigeria from filling slots. That's a concern being shared. But the agency in question says the low number isn't peculiar to Nigeria. Right? High cost of living, pray, repent, Sultan tells Nigerians. Nigeria experiencing stalled per capita growth, poverty, as well as food insecurity, says the IMF, and an alleged killing of a graduate sparks protest in Kaduna community. The Guardian says exiting oil firms pollutes Niger Delta with 36.1 million liters of crude in 8 years. And there are also some details being splashed on the front page of The Guardian. Anglican Church, Afe Babalola tasks Tinubu on fiscal policies. WHO predicts global shortage of 10 million health workers. Serap sues Akpabio Abbas, that's the leaders of the National Assembly, over 344.85 billion naira National Assembly budget. Tinubu berates ASU others for criticizing students' loan scheme, says no going back. Daily Independent is next. Experts express concerns, that's the lead story, over payment of remittances in Naira, saying it will worsen Forex crisis. This in the light of the latest CBN directive. And President Tinubu is quoted as saying, "We are determined to achieve food sufficiency for Nigeria." Police warn over public hostility towards medical personnel in Kano as Kano agency seals warehouses for hoarding foodstuff. NAS considers fresh legal framework for state police is also on the front page. And the Bureau of Statistics is set to release January 2024 inflation report with concerns that inflation is fast approaching 30%. Over now to this, Nigeria. Of course, there are more reports about the death of the Access Bank chief, Herbert Wigwe. The paper calls it the crash of a beautiful dream, and talks about or brings up more and more reactions to the deaths of Mr. Wigwe and others. But the lead story is captioned "Insecurity. National Assembly working on legal framework to create state police." Senate leader says it will help in combating activities of bandits, kidnappers, and terrorists. Another story from IMF: Nigeria has capacity to repay $2.82 billion debt. Next is Abuja Inquirer. As hardship deepens, it says fears linger over protest in Abuja as school attendance drops. And there is also pictorial a picture now, or some graphics depicting the weaker naira and prices of food and others. On Wigwe, Tinubu, governors lead tributes and board malls acting CEO. Finally, with me is the national economy. FG releases 200 billion naira to boost SMEs nationwide, and Nigeria's airline operating costs rank highest in Africa. That's according to the IATA, the Global Aviation Transport Agency. Ajaokuta still almost ready after 44 years. That's quite cynical. The report goes on to say this lingering project has gulped $10 billion, and experts reveal how to revive the company. There is, of course, the picture there of the state, the current state of the Ajaokuta Steel Company. And that's it.
All right. So many stories still talking about the death of Herbert Wigwe, as well as Nigeria's coming second and the AFCON final. But there's this story that caught my attention that's also on almost all the papers this morning, talking about the president saying that Nigeria will become a net exporter of food through aggressive mechanization. And Nigerians have been reacting to that story. Well, he was speaking to a delegation of a global Tijaniya movement led by Khalifa Mohammed Mahnias, the president, at the presidential villa in Abuja. That was where he made that statement when they went to visit him, when the delegation went to visit him, and he said that he's keen on, his administration, he's keen on making Nigeria food production self-sufficient,
right,
when it comes to food production. But the question on the lips of Nigerians, how far have we gone, is how far have we gone with this matter? Because from even the past administration, the matter of diversifying the economy, looking into the aspect of agriculture, where we now had the anchor borrower scheme, how far have we fared with, what have we achieved with that? How far have we come with attaining this matter of being self-sufficient over the years? And now farmers are saying they cannot go to the farms. They are still grappling with matters of insecurity. We see what's happening in Plateau State. We see what's happening in Benue State, where we also see what's happening in Kogi State. A majority of these persons who are these states where we call food baskets of this nation, even though Benue State is the state called the food basket of the nation, but we know how much these other states, Plateau State, for instance, contribute to ensuring that we are food secure is. It's become a challenge when you see the security situation, how people are finding it difficult to go to their farms. Even where they get this money, talking about anchor borrower scheme, they cannot go to the farm to, buy or plant the seedlings that they have bought with this money. So whatever it is that they are able to get with this money, they cannot get to the farms. And so we are having a crisis on our hands. How will we become food sufficient? Is quite, I don't know what the president have in mind, though.
Mm-hmm. It's a big question. It's a big concern. And, part of the grouse many Nigerians are having is, that the government just needs to act fast. Yes, the government has been speaking, communicating with this issue about food availability, food sufficiency. But the results are yet to trickle down. Meals of many Nigerians are still, very, very dry, very, very drab. So the prices in the market still keep skyrocketing. And in addition to what the president has said now at this latest meeting with, these dignitaries, he said that they were also going to explore low-interest facilities to farmers to enable them to be able to have, better crop yields. And yes, this is a welcome news, but of course, the problem or the challenge for the government is how soon will this policy take effect? And like analyst after analyst have been sharing their concerns, the issue of monitoring. You brought up, a host of so many policies, so many interventions that the federal government has brought, even beyond the current administration, but how well have these policies taken off? The anchor borrower scheme, the pillar, the RISE partnerships between states and all of that, and so many other interventions that governments at levels of state and federal have brought up. How well have they really, brought to enhance yields and to ensure hunger is eradicated? So these are issues that when government comes up with policies, as the Tinubu administration is saying now, policy monitoring these policies is crucial.
For me, I think we should begin with addressing the root causes of whatever challenge we're facing as it is, and that's insecurity. If that is dealt with, then we can talk about seeing the results of whatever effort we are making and monitoring it as well. So we shouldn't just treat the symptoms, we should deal with the root causes. We'll leave this conversation here now.